Good morning to one and all. Today we are going to discuss about the topic classification of Pisces. So let us go into the topic. Why we are worried about the classification, or why we want to see about the classification of Pisces. Classification is very important to understand the diversity of the organisms, and it is also very important to understand the phylogeny of organism. So for this reason we learn about the classification. So before going into the classification, we have to learn about the general characters of those organisms. So here Pisces includes the fishes, varieties of fishes, or the fabulous world of aquatic organisms. So what are all the general characters? The organisms have aquatic, freshwater or marine characteristic. They may be herbivorous or carnivorous in nature. They are cold-blooded, oviparous or sometimes ovoviviparous vertebrate organisms. The body has a very good streamlined appearance. They may have a spindle-shaped body. Some organisms are elongated, snake-like, and few are dorsoventrally compressed. And the body is differentiated into head, trunk and tail. The locomotion is well organized with the help of paired pectoral and pelvic fins, along with the median dorsal and caudal fins. So what is this caudal fins? We know that fishes are provided with a good number of fins, and here the caudal fins, they play a major role in the swimming. Different group of fishes have different types of caudal fins, especially the types include protocircle, or it is also called as diphicircle, leptocircle, heterocircle, hemihomocircle, or it can be called as homocircle also, hypocircle, isocircle and gephicircle. These are the different types of caudal fins which are found in the fishes, and this caudal fin helps in the fast moving of the fishes. So this is very important in fishes when we talk about the fins. And it is also supported by true dermal fin rays. The fins are supported by true dermal fin rays. And the muscular tail, as we spoke about the caudal is nothing but the tail. So the tail fins are used in the propulsion. It helps to propel the body. The exoskeleton of the organisms are made up of scales. We know that the fishes are made up of scales, and they have different types of scales also. So commonly we call the exoskeleton as dermal scales. In the placodermy group of fishes, the body is covered by placoid scales, and in chondrichthyous fishes, it is covered by ganoid, cycloid and ctenoid in osteichthyous fishes. So this chondrichthyous and osteichthyous are nothing but they are bony fishes and cartilaginous fishes. We term chondrichthyous as cartilaginous fishes and osteichthyous as bony fishes. And the endoskeleton is either cartilaginous or bony in nature. The notochord is usually replaced by vertebrae, either they may be bony or cartilage. Presence of well developed skull and a system of visceral arches are present, of which the first pair forms the upper and lower jaws. The visceral arches, as we spoke about the visceral arches, the visceral arch, many pairs of visceral arches are there, out of which the first pair forms the upper and lower jaws. The lower jaws are movably articulated with the skull. In human beings, the lower jaw is not articulated with the skull. Only the upper jaw will be articulated with the skull, whereas in the fishes, the lower jaw is movable and they are articulated with the skull also. And the muscles are arranged in the form of segments, what we call as myotomes, with the separate dorsal and ventral parts. They have separate dorsal and ventral parts. And the alimentary canal with definite stomach is found, and they have a good pancreas, and the alimentary canal terminates into the cloacal region, or we commonly call as anus. They have a good respiratory system. Respiratory system is well developed, and the organs of respiration are gills. They have 5 to 7 pairs of gill slits, and the gill slits are naked, either it may be open or it may be covered by an operculum. It have a covering called as operculum. And the heart is well developed. Here it is having a venous heart, and it is of two chambered. One is auricle and another one is ventricle. Sinus venosus and the renal and portal systems are present, and the erythrocytes are nucleated. Like other vertebrates, we don't have the nucleated erythrocyte. Human being don't have nucleated erythrocyte, and the RBCs are called as ghost cells in human being because the RBC, red blood corpuscles, lack the nucleus, whereas in the fishes erythrocytes are nucleated. They have a well defined nucleus, and they are poikilothermic animals. They have a good excretory system with mesonephric kidneys, and the excretions are ureotelic. Brain with usual 5 parts. The 5 parts include, what are all the 5 parts? We know that it is made up of 5 different parts called as rhombencephalon, cerebellum, mesencephalon, diencephalon and telencephalon. These are the 5 main parts of the brain of fishes, and they have 10 pairs of cranial nerves. Nostrils are paired, and they do not open into pharynx, except the dipnoi group of fishes. Dipnois are nothing but they have dual mode of respiration. Nasal capsules are partly separate in chondrichthyous fishes and completely separate in osteichthyous fishes. And the tympanic cavity and ear ossicles are entirely absent, whereas the internal ear with the 3 semicircular canals are present. Lateral line system is well developed, and the fishes are having a separate sexes. The male and female are separate. Gonads are typically paired. Gonoducts opens into cloaca, or they open independently. Fertilization might be internal, or at times they may be external. Females of chondrichthyous are oviparous or ovoviviparous, and of osteichthyous fishes are mostly oviparous and rarely ovoviviparous or viviparous. And the eggs of the fishes have a large amount of yolk. Cleavage is meroblastic, and the extra embryonic membranes are absent. Development usually direct, without or with little metamorphosis. They may have the indirect development, or most of the fishes will have the direct development and they don't have the metamorphosis. So these are the important general characters about the fishes. So if we know about the general characters only, we can look into the classification, because the classification is entirely based on the morphological features and also the internal structure, anatomy of the fishes. So let us move into the classification of Pisces. The superclass Pisces is classified into 3 classes. Class 1 is Placodermi, class 2 is Chondrichthyous, and class 3 is Osteichthyous. Class 1 Placodermi possess most of the extinct jawed fishes like Acanthodi, Cocosteus, etc. Class 2 Chondrichthyous is again subdivided into 2 subclass called as subclass 1 Salaci and subclass 2 Brachiodonti. Subclass A Salaci is again classified into 2 orders called as order 1 Squaliforms or Pleurotremata. Order 2 is Batoideae or Hypotremata. Squaliform order fishes are normally sharks, which we call as Coleodon, and they have dermal denticles like scales, what we call as placoid scales, and the Batioidae or the Hypotremata order 2 group of fishes are very flat in nature. Examples include rays, trigon, torpedo, skates, Pisces, etc. These group of fishes are very flat in nature, and these group of fishes too possess the placoid type of scales. That is, the skin will be giving an appearance of a sandpaper because of the dermal denticles or the placoid scales. Subclass B, Brachiodonti, is again classified into two orders. Order 1 is Eubrachiodonti and order 2 is Holocephaly. Order 1, Eubrachiodonti, is completely extinct. The fishes under this Eubrachiodonti are completely extinct, and the order 2, Holocephaly, includes the fish called as Chimera. Holocephaly means complete head, or the fish may have a entire head. And for this the example is Chimera, and this group of fishes lack the dermal denticles. They don't have the dermal denticles or the placoid scales, which are the features of squaliforms as well as the Batioidae. So this scaleless feature is very unique in the Chimera fishes or the Holocephaly. Next comes the third class, Osteichthyes, and this Osteichthyes is classified into two subclass. Subclass A is Actinopterygii and subclass B is Sarcopterygii. Subclass A, Actinopterygii, is again subdivided into three superorders. First superorder is Chondrostei. Superorder 2 is called as Holostei, and superorder 3 is Teleostei. So we have three superorders under the subclass A, Actinopterygii. The superorder Chondrostei is again classified into two orders. Order 1 is Polypteriforms and order 2 is Acipenseriforms. Superorder 2, Holostei, is again classified into two orders. One is Ammiforms and order 2 is Lepidostiforms. Superorder 3, Teleostei, is classified into 11 orders. We have 11 orders under the superorder Teleostei. So let us look one by one. Order 1 is Clupeiforms. Example for this is salmon, clupe, etc. Order 2 is Cypriniforms or Ostariophysi or Cypriniforms. They are called in two names. One is Ostariophysi or Cypriniforms. And this Cypriniforms mostly include the carp-like fishes. Example is Labiorohita, Katla. These are the very famous group of fishes which are included under Cypriniforms. And the third order is Ophiocephaliforms. This Ophiocephaliform includes the example Ophiocephalus, and mostly we term Ophio means snake-like head. Ophio means a snake and cephali means head. So this group of fishes may have a snake-like head. Order 4 is Anguilliforms. Anguilliforms include eel-like fishes. Most of the eel-like fishes are included under the order Anguilliforms. Order 5 is Belloniforms or Synentognathi. So this group of fishes will be a long needle-like. The fishes will give an appearance of a needle, and example for this is Bellon, Exocetus, etc. Order 6 is Syngnathiforms, and syn means fusion, gnati means jaws. So the jaws will be fused together in this group of fishes. Example is hippocampus, that is seahorse, etc. Order 7, Perciforms or Percomorphi. This will be having a perch-like appearance. It will give in resemblance of a perch. Example is Anabas. Order 8 is pluronectiforms, and this pluronectiform of fishes are usually very flat in nature, and example for this group is Hippoglossus, Pleuronectis, etc. Order 9 is Tetradontiforms. Tetradontiforms, they will be having a unique shape. Example is Ostracoddon, Diodon, Tetradon, etc. Order 10 is Echiniforms. Echiniform is in the form of Echinesis. They will be very broad in nature, and example for this group of fish is Echinesis or Remora. The last order or the 11th order is Lophiforms. Lophiforms example is Lophius or Antinarius. So by this, the superorder Teleosti, under that 11 orders we have seen. The next comes the Osteichthyes. In that we have seen two subclass. One is Actinopterygii, and under the Actinopterygii we have seen all the superorders and orders. Another subclass is Sarcopterygii. So this Sarcopterygii is also called as Coenichthyes. Sarcopterygii group of fishes are also called as Coenichthyes, and this subclass Sarcopterygii is classified into two orders. What is called as Crossopterygii, and another one is Dipnoi. The Crossopterygii is having a number of species, and in that the most important example is Latimeria. Latimeria chavinula is a very important fossil species of fish which is identified. Earlier they said that this group of fishes were extinct, and later on the Columnae in the lake of in the river of Columnae, they identified the Latimeria and it was renamed as Latimeria columnae. And the order 2 Dipnoi is very unique in the class Pisces, because this is going to create the evolutionary connection or the phylogenetic connection between the amphibians as well as the Pisces. So as this is the last order in the superclass Pisces, this organism is going to give a unique feature for the fishes, that apart from the gill, they are also going to have the air bladder or the lung-like structure which can help to breathe them when they are out of the water, or when they have a lack in the water, or when they feel that there is not sufficient amount of water or unfavorable conditions. During that period, the fishes are managed to breathe with the help of that additional breathing a structure called as air bladder or lung-like structure, anything. Because of this only, this group of fishes are placed under the order Dipnoi. Di means two and noi means breathing structure. Because of that, it is called as Dipnoi. And example for this group of fishes are Lepidopteran, Neoceratodus, Protopterus. So all these fishes are also called as lung fishes. So mostly they are African lungfish, American lungfish. Most based on the presence of their habitat, the names are differing. Vernacular names may differ according to their habitat. So by this we conclude about the classification of Pisces, and this Dipnoi is going to be the connection for the next group of organism, amphibian. How the amphibian is going to live in dual mode of life, that is they live in both the places, land as well as in water. So this Dipnoi is going to be an initial organism, how the fishes are going to come to the land for their survival. So still we have so many organisms in the connection between the Pisces and amphibians. So when we talk about the evolution or phylogeny, in those class we'll just have a connection about the phylogeny of amphibians also. So by this we conclude about the classification of superclass Pisces. Thank you all for your patient listening.